Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Spiritual Spotlight series. Today, I'm joined by the fabulous Annabella. Annabella is the founder of the Spiritual Lab. She's a modern day spiritualist, intuitive energy reader, clairvoyant, and certified tarot card reader. Through her readings, she connects people to loved ones on the other side. And with the help of the spirit guides, source, angels, and other divine entities, she provides guidance, insight, and key messages that help people to heal and experience inner peace. What I love about Anna is she brings about this energy of joy and compassion and just fun. So I am super excited, Anna, that you're here today.
Rachel, can you tell I'm so happy to see you? And I'm so honored and excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I am so excited. So we're going to jump right in and I'm going to ask you, what is a modern day spiritualist?
Yeah, right. What's up with the modern day? Why
It's
don't
a
I just call
great,
myself a spiritualist?
I think it's a great
Overall,
thing to call yourself, actually. Go ahead, tell me all
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Well, I believe we're all modern day spiritualists, whether we believe it or not. But calling myself a modern day spiritualist was my way of telling people, hey, spirituality can help you with your modern day problems and your modern day issues. And these, spirituality is often thought of as this ancient school of wisdom and divine principles. And, some people have said to me, okay, well, I just got laid off. So how's spirituality going to help me? My teenager is suffering from severe anxiety. Like, tell me how that connects to spirituality and how can I use spirituality? And it's like, oh my God.
These are great questions, and spirituality can totally help you.
Yes, it can totally help you. And so by calling it modern day spirituality was just my way of saying like it's still relevant. If you live life through a spiritual lens, it can help you so much. And yes, help you deal with modern day problems and issues and circumstances.
That is such a key point because people right now are going through so many different traumas and tribulations. And you, like you said, I got laid off. How is spirituality going to help me? Well, I'll tell you, for me, I was terminated from a job, and spirituality is what pulled me through, And had I not gone through that experience, I don't know where I'd be right now. So for me, it was like a wake up call, and it was very much like turn within. Like, what was it about? What happened in this moment? That because there's a lot of my brother committed suicide. I lost my job. It was a lot of like these really heavy events. And then it was like I was on my knees praying, God, angels, universe, help me, show me the light, because this is the one it's all about. So you're
Yeah.
absolutely correct. And I love the fact that you guide people through that kind of that it's trauma, and it's we got to talk about it, but hey, let me give you some tools to help you work you through it.
Yes, absolutely, Rachel. Oh my God. Well, in this moment, I'm so tempted to turn this interview on you and ask you more about that. Now I'm so curious, but we'll stay focused. I'll stay focused.
Focus.
Yeah, and unfortunately or fortunately, depending
Yeah.
on how you look at it, it is often those real traumatic,
Yeah,
difficult situations in life that quite literally bring us to our knees,
absolutely.
that turn us to spirituality. And hey, if that's what it takes, that's fine, and it's right there for you, and it will help you help lift you up and inspire you and get you back on your feet.
And I will say for me, just to pivot back there, and I'm going to go back to you, is that I've always been spiritual. I've always like been a very open to people, and I mean, I can tell you stories from when I was 4 and moving on. So this happened in my late 30s. So it's like I'm grateful that I was able to tune into those gifts and really like, I mean, it pulled me through. I was going through some. I always say I was in the well, and
Yes,
now it's like
yes.
we're in the well, and it's okay to be in the well. It's okay to be in the well, but you got to make sure that you can get yourself out of the well. And then when you're, I'm sorry with this analogy, but, and when you're looking down in the well, you got to help others out as well, because you've been
Yes.
there and you know what it's like to go through that, and you know what that darkness is like, and to be able to pull people through, which is something that you do. It's a pivotal moment in people's lives. So
I
I'm,
couldn't agree more. And I feel like almost going down the well
yeah,
should be a prerequisite for just life.
well,
Like,
I don't know if you've ever read this. Maureen St. Germain. She's a wonderful spiritual teacher. I love reading her books. I've taken some of her courses. She talks about heart hurts are rocket fuel for ascension.
oh, I
So
love
in
that.
order for, yeah, when we go through like loss of job, loss of a family member, loss of purpose, it may not even
Mhm.
be like what we consider a big traumatic event, just feeling lost in your day-to-day life, that's trauma. You
It
get
really
stuck
is.
and you don't know how to move forward. You turn on your blinders and you become tunnel vision. So,
Yes.
and with you help take off those blinders and you help direct people on. So
Yes.
talk about modern day spiritualism all day long, and we want to move on.
Okay. Okay. Following your lead. Let's
Oh
move
my,
on.
oh my gosh. Now I'm like, oh, I still want to talk about this, but that's
I
okay.
know. Me too. I'm like, wait, do we pivot? Do we move? Okay. Well,
We'll see where the vibe takes us. So, and for you, I know that you're clairvoyant, and I want to ask you this. When did you first realize that you were clairvoyant? Is this something that happened in childhood, or is this something that happened in adulthood? Please let us know.
yeah. Well, it would make for a much more glorious, easier bio if I can say there was this pivotal moment I
Oh
can
my
point to. I was walking down the street one day and I got hit by lightning.
damn.
And the next morning I could talk to dead people, but yeah, it did not happen that way. There was no like one moment or
Mm,
one circumstance. It
that's a
really
good
was.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was a gradual evolution for me. And
Yeah.
so I can say, likewise, from a very young age, I was always interested and fascinated by
Mm.
astrology, by fortune telling, by palm reading.
Love
I grew up in a very Catholic family, very
it.
Catholic. So we went to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
My mom and dad were born and raised in the Philippines, very Catholic culture, very religious culture.
Mhm.
But I found it very unrelatable as a child,
Even
as a
as a
teen.
child. Oh, I love that. That's interesting.
And I would go to church and I would go through the motions, but I would go home and feel the same way. And I'm like, well, how do I use this? How do I use what goes on in mass or these readings from the Bible to apply to my life?
Yeah.
And I would turn to astrology books and new age metaphysical books.
Even
And
as a child.
yes,
I
and
love
especially
this.
as a
Love
teenager
this.
especially. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was actually my very Catholic mom that gifted me my first tarot deck with a guidebook at 14. Wait,
Whoa.
what are you thinking? What?
I just love that. The fact that Catholic mom would gift you with a tarot book and tarot deck of cards. I'm just, thank goodness that she was open enough to be like, here you go.
She really was. So my mom was an interesting special one. She grew up very Catholic, very religious,
Yeah.
right? We had a crucifix in our home. We had the Last Supper, the painting over our dining table. Very Catholic family. But my mom also dabbled or was always open to other spiritual
Ooh,
practices. So
love
good
that.
luck figurines. She believed very much in the afterlife. She believed in angels and spirits
Yeah.
and so she was like, here you go, here's a tarot deck. And then I started reading it, learning the cards, reading for friends for fun.
Yeah.
And then college came. And I think there's something around, the college having to work, joining corporate America stage of my life that just kind of tucked it away, kind of pushed it away. I think I got more into the material realm of like, I got to get an education. I have to
Yeah.
go make money. I have to get a job.
Yeah.
Um, and then we were just talking about catalysts. The catalyst for me that drove me right back to my spiritual practice was my mom died. My mom passed
Oh,
away in December 2008, and things got really spiritual. I
yeah.
mean, it got really spiritual from there. And I felt compelled to do something with all these intuitive feelings and
Yeah.
visions and visits I was getting after my mom died from my mom, from spirits, things happening in the home,
Yeah.
weird dreams. And I called upon a friend who I know had been seeing a spiritual teacher. And I said, I need to do something with all these. Where do I go? Who do I see?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the name of this person that I should go look up? And she said, I just have the person for you. She pointed me to a spiritual teacher out of Staten Island. And I saw her for 5 years, once every 2 weeks. And she worked with me to cultivate my skills.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I
that's how the journey went.
And then I'm sure you have your mom here with you now because it feels like she's here with you now.
Yeah. Hi, Mom. Yeah, mom's always with me. Always with me.
Always with you. And do you feel that, I want to ask you this, with her in spirit, is she, how do I want to say this question? With her in spirit, do you feel like she's guiding you on your spiritual path and also on your spiritual career?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like pushing you along?
For sure.
Yeah.
But I would also add to that, yes, pushing, guiding me along my spiritual career, but she's still very much just my mom.
Oh, I
And
love that.
yeah, like that dynamic in that relationship, even her personality,
Yeah.
the hippie, sassy things she used to say, it's still very much there. They really don't lose their personalities and preferences when they cross over.
Yeah.
And so she talks to me about the little things too. It's not always like the big things, but she talks to me about like the food I'm eating. I actually had Filipino food not too long ago, and
Yeah.
I felt her presence sitting next to me going, "Oh, that looks good." Like it's just these casual comments. It's not always this big revelatory.
No, you're absolutely correct. Because they're going to meet you. And I think for people that may not have experienced, across a over loved one or an angel, they meet you at where your personality is, and they talk to you with, and they're similar cadence, and they come across as this is them just in spirit.
Yes,
I love
yes,
that. That's
yeah, me
amazing.
too.
Because
Yeah.
then how are you going to trust that, hey, that's my mom? Because if it's coming across as, hello, Anna, I am here with you now. You'd be like, go kick rocks. What are you talking about? Get out
Yeah.
of here with that.
Who are you?
Get out of here. I love that. I think that's beautiful. Now, what would you say about your thoughts about everyone having certain connection with psychic abilities?
Yeah, that it's true.
Everyone.
Um,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we are all extensions of source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. And thus we really all have divine abilities and wisdom. I'm always so hesitant to call this a gift, when someone's like, "Oh, you have this gift," or because it by calling it a gift, it makes it sound like
You're special or you're
it's
taught, so only you can access it.
exactly, exactly. And it's like, no, no, it's you too. It's everybody. God didn't create this like VIP list of
Ah,
like, certain people who are gonna, you know,
Anna's
inherit.
in, Rachel's out. Like,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
You're in the VIP, you get full gift psychic abilities. You'll be in general admission, so you'll get intuitive feelings. So I'm like, no, like, so we all
Love
have,
you.
yeah, yes. You're sitting up in the mezzanine now, which actually are great seats. Those are great seats. Um, no, but so that's what I tell people. Like it's all there. Everyone has now. It's a matter of how much someone is willing to acknowledge it,
Yes.
how much someone's willing to cultivate the skill,
Yeah.
like any technique or tool, right?
Yeah.
Someone might be a great ice skater, but if you really want to get serious with
Yeah.
it and you want to compete and you want to go to the Olympics, well, you got to refine your technique. You have to take some lessons, right? You got to go practice.
Yeah.
And psychic abilities is the same thing. It's no different than that.
Absolutely. Like, I'm a registered nurse. And I remember when I was first in nursing school, believe it or not, what I was afraid to do was do a bed bath.
Really?
Yeah, because I never have given a patient a bed bath. I
Yeah.
in
Right.
nursing school, I never worked as an aide, and I never did that. And my first experience was with oh my goodness, this is like bringing. I mean, I've been a nurse for over 18 years. Is that my first experience with was the lady post mastectomy, and she needed to one. I had to drain her tubes, and I had to give her a bed bath. And I just
Mm.
remember and putting them on a bedpan, and it's just so interesting. Like, to look about that now, I'm grateful that I had that experience, and that now it showed me compassion and how to treat the human. And because I moved on from my nursing career, and I've done other things. I was also a hospice nurse. So, and it's funny, but you're right. Practice makes I know, I love being a hospice. If anyone, we can go on a whole other topic: death doulas,
We can.
hospice. Oh,
Yes.
I love you all.
My
That is,
mom died in hospice. So when
oh,
you said that,
you know it.
I had a
You know it.
heart
Yes.
spark.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, okay, I'm going to pivot here for 1 minute for anyone that's listening. It's such a shame for people who don't know about hospice and don't take advantage of hospice services, because when I used to work for hospice, we would get statistics and things like that. And it's like most people that go on hospice pass away within 3 days, but you can be on hospice for years, and it's just, it's such a loving, they bring in so many resources and counselors or religious, spiritual people and social work. Anyway, off topic.
Yes. No, it's so on topic, Rachel. It's so on topic. And I think, I mean, like you said, we can have a whole podcast episode on just
We did.
hospices, but I will say, having a mother who died in hospice,
Yeah.
they are not just so there for the patients, they're there for the families.
Yes, they are. Yes,
They
they
were
are.
a beacon for us.
And I'm not sure if you know this, but, or you do know this, but anyone that wants to get hospice services, like you said, it's for the family, it's free. It's free. Like you can
Yes.
get counseling when a loved one has passed away, and they'll help you through that, because grief is challenging and hard, and you might need to just talk it through with someone, and they provide those services. So
Yes.
we recommend for everyone to look up hospice for even just for right now. I mean, and know
Yes.
what you need for the future. So
Yes. Wait, I'll just add one more thing to
yes, please.
hospice and then we can pivot from
Like, stop it, Rachel. Don't move on.
As we're talking,
Yeah.
I just remembered a year after my mom passed away, the hospice she died in sent me a letter. Like, they sent me a letter one year acknowledging it's been a year since we left. How are you doing? We just wanted to check in on you. And I just remember crying upon receiving that letter, because my mother died, right? Loved one died. You have a flood of support and love.
Yes.
And the sympathy cards roll right in,
Yeah.
and the food, and it's great. It's so wonderful. And then you move on, and people got to go back to their lives, and they got to
Yeah.
go. And when that hospice sent me a letter a year after she died, I was like, wow, thank you. Like, yes, I do need this letter right now.
Yeah.
Thank you for acknowledging the anniversary. Thank you for checking in on me. So anyway, the care goes even beyond.
That's so meaningful. And the other thing I do want to say is they also provide it for kids. So they have Wave Riders, which is also counseling services for kids. So it's not just an adult service. They also help, adolescents, kids as well. So I just nothing nothing but love for hospice. And I'm
Yes.
grateful. I'm so grateful that in my nursing career I was a hospice nurse, because it really taught me, a lot of things about death. It talked to me about like culture, how we respect the death. And also it showed me that, as a society, we're afraid to talk about death, and we're afraid to talk about dying. And, it is a skewed conversation, and that, I hope that in time we become more open and we talk more about it. And it's like, because death is just a doorway. Like, you're still connected with your mom. She's still with you. She's in a
She's
different
really not dead. Yeah.
probably more lively now than
In some ways, yeah. I feel like, should we pivot to death? Should we talk about death a little bit? Well, it's up to you.
we can talk about death. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about death and dying?
Why is our society so afraid of death?
I think because we as a society, we're so like, that's a good question. It's more like we try to like, we want to be immortal. Look at models today. Look at the female image. There's such a, like, for us as aging women, go get Botox, go get plastic surgery, you have to always look like a teenager. I am in my 40s. Like, I need to look like, yeah, like, and it's like, but then we get shamed. We get shamed for being overweight. We get shamed for how we look. And so there is no, like, I hope that we start to pivot towards our elders, and aging is a beautiful process, but people don't want to, like, you always want to be young, always want to be this teenager. No, I don't.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't want to go back to my
No,
teenage years.
thank you. I'm good. No, thank you.
Thank
I love where I'm at now. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the wisdom that I have. But as a society, being young holds so much merit. And it's also like your stock of worth, and how your image is. And I think as we get older, and it's like, and also we don't want to talk about loss and feelings and emotions. I think a lot of us bottle up things. So
Yeah.
when we're in this moment of, oh, my mom is really sick, do I want to talk to her about, well, what are your final wishes? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? Do you want How do you want your celebration of life to be? You know, and we don't have these tough conversations because we're uncomfortable with having them. The only reason why we're uncomfortable with having them because we don't have these conversations, you know?
Right.
So it's very much it's opening up the dialogue. Like now you know, because I am a nurse, I do talk to my family. Do you have your healthcare proxy in place? Do you have your living will in place? Do you want to be a do not resuscitate? Do you want to have a feeding tube? Do you want me to sustain your life even though I know you're already gone? Like,
Mm-hmm.
or what are your feelings? What are your beliefs? And it does come down to a spiritual belief, a religious belief, you know. And so I think people are afraid. People are scared.
Yes.
And also they're scared of, you know, the afterlife. What's next? Well, we don't
Right.
really have definitive proof. We have our faith and our beliefs, and you know, and some people feel that when you die, you're dead and that's it. No more life. You're gone. You know, so
Exactly.
I think it's like it's almost, I'm sorry, I really went off there, but it's a lot of
No, it's all good
fears.
stuff.
It's fears and it's you know, holdups. And as like right now, we're you know, adult women, we should feel comfortable talking with our, you know, our aging population, even with our kids. Hey, when I, you know, if I pass away, this is what I want to happen. And also have things in place. Have things in place. So
Yes.
then that way people aren't like, oh, you died and now I'm fighting over my books, I'm
Oh
fighting
my
over
gosh.
my money, I'm fighting over, well, mom would want this, mom would want that. No, mom has it laid out right here.
Plan.
Mom wants to
Yes.
go in a tree pod because she wants to be part of a forest. That's what I want
Yes.
to
Ooh,
do.
a tree pot. I got to look into those. Okay. Go on.
You know, like I want to be part of a forest, and you know, I want to return back to the earth.
Yes.
I don't want to have a big to do, but I need to have, my kids need to know this is what I want. Like I know for my dad, my dad's Southern. We're from Georgia. He wants a big,
Oh,
yeah, we're from Girl, I'm a Southern belle.
I think
He wants to have a big celebration. He wants like the New Orleans where the parade and you
want the
know, like,
marching band.
yeah, like he wants it lively and like like you know,
I
all
love
jamming out. And it's like,
that.
but he's told us this is what he wants, you know.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I don't know what my mom wants. You know, it's not a
Has she not
conversation.
talked about it? She
She
doesn't
doesn't
want
like
to talk
talking
about it.
about it. So it's like,
Mm.
I mean, she's a head in the sand kind of gal, and you know that's your choice. But what's going to happen when something does happen? When she passes away, she's got 4 kids. I have no idea what we're going to be doing, and that's not a comfortable position to be in. So
Yeah.
let's pivot back to you.
Well, okay, we can, but before we turn it back to me, I just want to add to all the amazing things you just said that I also think there's something about American society,
Oh, thank you. Yes, it is American society because I
right?
do think other societies are much more comfortable with it. Like,
Much more comfortable and honor their elders and
yes,
still seek them out for
yes,
advice about finance and
yes,
family and
yes.
education and keep them in the home. They don't send them to,
Yes. Nursing
you know,
homes and
nursing
assisted
homes
living
and
and yes,
yes, and they're cared
moving the
for.
mom, moving the
Yeah.
dad, take care of. Thank you. You bring up it is an American
I
society.
think so. I really do believe
I do
so.
too.
Yes, yes.
I do.
So,
My sister-in-law, she's Chinese, and her mom lives with her 6 months, and my brother 6 months out of the year. And I guarantee you, as she ages, she'll end up moving with them full time.
well,
It's almost like the cycle of life. They took care of us. Now it's our turn to take care of them. You know?
yes, I think it was Bob Marley that has this great quote, once a man, twice a child.
Mm,
I think that's Bob Marley's. I hope I'm right.
I don't
If
know.
it's someone else's, I'm sorry. Sorry, didn't mean to misquote, but it's so true. It's so true. You do kind of revert back
You
to
do. And
being the one that needs
also
care.
another thing is that people don't talk about as an elderly person, the loss of rights, the loss of the abilities to do things. It is the hardest transition that anyone goes through. You are in your mind, but I can't drive anymore. I can't walk very well. I can't do these things.
It's a loss of access
Yes.
to
Yes.
things you had
Yeah.
at your disposal that
Yes.
gave you freedom, that gave you
Yes.
choice, and
Yes.
they're
It's
slowly
lost.
taken away from you. Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't really talk about that. And it's like imagine if one day I wake up as, you know, and my son puts me in assisted living without having discussion. And that happens. All of a sudden I'm in the hospital and maybe I need some rehab, but instead you put me in a nursing home, you know?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like bye, out of sight, out of mind. I don't have to worry about you anymore.
Well,
and
yes,
you
that
know,
is an indication of American society.
yeah,
It really kind of out of sight, out of mind.
yeah,
And I hope we live to see the day when society starts to open up to elderly,
yes,
and make them a part of
yes,
everyday life again.
yes.
And so a friend of mine recently told me, I forgot what the name is, but she was like, that there's an online dating app for like 65 and older.
Oh
And I was like,
yeah,
oh my God, I love that.
ourtime.com. Hello.
Ourtime.com?
I don't know why I get ads for that. I have been in a relationship for 18 years, but listen,
I love that you know that though. I might need it. Being a single mom, I might need it. So I will keep that in mind and bookmark that for when I get to that stage.
oh my
But
gosh, I love it.
yes, they still date, they still fall in love,
Absolutely.
they still get turned on, they
Absolutely.
still continue to live, they want to find somebody.
Yes.
Like, yeah,
They
life
want
does
to
not
drink.
end.
They want to tear it up. My mother-in-law is 88 years old. And let me tell you, that
Oh,
girl likes to have her scotch, and she's like, damn it. I want, and they'll be like, no, no. She's like, no, I want my scotch. I want my glass of wine. Like
she wants it for breakfast.
Yeah, hello. She probably would if she could. Um,
I love that. Right on.
and it's like she likes what she likes and she wants what she wants. And as a woman who has lived her life and is still living her life, she's entitled
Yeah,
to have what she wants.
that's
So,
right. She is. She has earned it. May she have a daily scotch every day for 20, 30 more years.
oh my gosh, she probably would if she could. If Bob were to hear me right now, she'd be like, no.
Mom doesn't like the daily scotch.
No, because she is a diabetic. But still, you can adjust your insulin. Come on now. I'm a nurse. I can help you out.
Exactly. There's a nurse.
Get some more.
What is he worried about? Right? You're right there.
Listen, guys, when I first started as a nurse, actually, I worked at a hospital is when I first started out, and I worked on the diabetic med-surg unit. So,
Look at
hello.
that. Overqualified to take care. Daily scotch continues. Rachel's here. Don't worry about it. Keep going.
But you know how people are sometimes they don't listen to the ones that they love, even though they may have a medical background. We're off topic here, guys. See what Anna does to me? I love this dinner.
It is my fault.
I love this conversation. This is
Me
awesome.
too. So fun.
So back to you. I'm like, I don't even want to ask this question now because it's heavy. What are some metaphysical experiences that were extraordinary to you that you might want to share with us?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. There have been so many, but I'm trying to go through my mental filing cabinet and pick out my top 2 or 3. Well, let's go back to mom dying.
Yes.
In 2008, when she was in hospice. I drove to see her one evening after work. And let me back it up a bit. I'll tell your listeners the background fact to this story is my mom hated me coming home late when I was a teenager. So I'm a city girl. I grew up in New York City, where you don't need a car to hang out and have fun. And I had a curfew that I would often not honor. And my mom, and this is before cell phones, so she couldn't just call me to find out where I was. And I would worry her to death. Sorry, mom, as the rebellious teenager I was, come home late. And she hated me being out late. And it worried her, it stressed her out. When I finally walked through the door, she would rest and go to bed. So keep that fact in mind for this story. I go to see her in hospice, and my mom, this is about 3 days before she passed away. And I'm there by her bedside. I'm like, all right, mom, I'm talking to her. I'm going to go home now. It's about 11 o'clock at night. Again, my mom hates it when I stay out late or I'm out on the loose late at night. So I go in my car, start driving home to Jersey. I feel my mom's spirit slide into the backseat of my car. And I look in my rearview mirror and I can see the outline of her face sitting in the backseat. And the energy from her was, well, I'm going to sit here and accompany you back home because I hate it when you drive late like this. And so I drove with her, with my mom's spirit in the back seat, got to my garage. As soon as I pulled into my parking spot, I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw her spirit just kind of float out the window and go back, I guess, to her body, which was still in hospice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I love that one. I mean, another one that really is I always remember, it brings me to tears sometimes, is I was reading for a client. she wanted to connect to her grandmother who had passed away the year before. And as I'm talking to her and we're talking about her grandmother and I'm, trying to connect to her grandma, my room that I was in started filling up with yellow butterflies. It just started filling up. And I had this, I saw it, like just filling up. And so I told my client, I'm not sure if there's a significance here. There probably is, but just to let you know, I just got a flood of butterflies that flew in. And she starts crying immediately. And she says, oh my God, my grandmother before she died told me that when she comes to connect with me or comes to visit me, she's going to send me butterflies. And I was like, well, she is here and so are the butterflies. So yeah, I mean,
love that.
Yeah, I can go on and on, but there's just there's so many great things that happen. I mean, this is why spirituality is so fun, man. And it's so
and I bet for you too, like I love giving readings for clients and having sessions because they're all different. And whoever comes in, it's always like it's a healing and it's cathartic and it's a beautiful like energy. And to see like your client light up like you and the butterflies, like, oh, you know what I mean? And it could be something simple like, oh, I'm pulling forward an apple, and you're like, this may not mean anything in the back of your head, but when they hear that, they're like, oh, my grandma used to give me an apple every single day. And if I were to bring in like, if I were to hear rise and shine morning glory, like I know that's my grandma. And it's just these beautiful messages that we're able to impart on others, like you're able to do, which is such a beautiful gift. It really is. It's probably healing for you too. As you're giving messages, it's also healing for you.
It's so healing. Yeah, I don't know if everyone realizes that when you go to seek out a reader and you have a session, it's a healing for the reader.
Absolutely.
As well. It's just a healing space for everybody there.
Absolutely. And I would feel like I'm going to ask you this as a healer and reader myself. I find that I attract clients that are bringing forward something that I need to heal within myself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, self-worth. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about some limiting beliefs about not wanting to be seen. Oh, let's talk about not love coming in.
Yeah. So do you find that for the clients you read, they often have common themes going on that you
Yes.
Okay. That you identify with as well.
I love that. I love that. Yes, absolutely. It's like either I'll do a lot of readings in one day and it's all the same. Done, done, done. And I don't know about for you, but I also will call in this. It's funny because the angels and guides and team will call in the same type of healings. Oh, we gotta do future self. Oh, we gotta connect you with future self. Oh, here we go again. Future self. Okay, here we go again. And I'm like, oh, it's just yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Wait, so right when you said future self, that just reminded me of another metaphysical experience. Tell me if this has ever happened to you as well. I have been in moments. Okay, so very specific example. I still work a corporate job, so I still have a 9 to 5. And years ago, I was having I was having a really tough morning getting up and signing on for this corporate job. Not the job I have right now, in case any of my colleagues are listening to this, but this is a previous job. And it was already 9 a.m. I mean, I should have been online. I should have been in front of my laptop. This was at the height of the pandemic. And I'm laying in bed and I'm having oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do today. I can't get up. Oh my God. And I'm praying. I'm like, help me, help me.
I love this.
And I heard my own voice in my ear. And it was a very urgent, not with like kind of like a Anna. And I heard my own voice go, Anna, like, get up.
Get up.
And I was like, whoa, okay, yep, I'm up. I threw off the covers. It freaked me out so much. I was like, yep, I'm up. I'm going. I'm moving. Thank you. Thank you. And when I told a friend about it, she's like, that was your quantum self. So has this ever happened to you?
Okay, so yes and no. I am a believer of folding time. So when there are moments that I know that I am running late or I need to get somewhere, we're able to tap into quantum energy and we can manipulate time because time is just a construct and time is not constant. And
That's right. That's right. It is. Yeah.
And so for that kind of instance, yes, I'm able to work with that. But for future self, it's more of like an inner knowing and working with her that no matter what, I'll be okay. And
Mm,
that there may be times that I don't feel like I'm quite on my spiritual path the way that I need to be. Maybe
mhm,
I'm not living my mission. Let's talk about us and working a full-time job. And sometimes it's like, am I really living my purpose if I'm doing
mhm,
my 9 to 5? And I feel like part of my purpose is where I'm currently at in my employment,
mhm.
so it is interesting, but there's this inner calm knowing of no matter what, because I'm going off topic here. I do energetic meditations. There is a Alea Deo. She's amazing meditations. I subscribe to her. I do her
Mhm.
daily cups. And she always calls in from you from the future as an ascended master. So,
Mhm.
and by working with me as a future as an ascended
Just
master,
got chills.
I
Okay.
know for the
Yeah.
past 6 years, I'm like, girl, I love my future self lady. She's a badass lady. I can't
Well,
wait. I can't wait till I'm with her. But I'm her now.
right.
No
Yeah,
time.
exactly. I was gonna say, Rachel, right now you are badass. You are a badass. You are badass. You will be badass.
You
Eh, eh,
know, so
Yeah.
yes. But I also feel like when that instance is also your higher self saying, okay, you need to be here now,
Yes.
like get
Yes.
up and get going.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's something, that it's important for listeners to
Yeah.
know. All versions of yourself, all stages of yourself still exist.
Yeah.
So your younger self still exists. The
Yeah.
consciousness of your future self
Yes.
exists. It's
Oh,
not
yes.
a linear
Yes.
journey.
Because
Yeah.
why is it now that we have to do so much work with our inner child? We have to do work with,
Mhm.
how we were born. We have to do work with our future because we need to call in our future. So it's almost like we need to be present in this now moment, but there needs to be respect and, energy to, yeah, but when you were 5, you didn't have any food and
Yes.
you had to go and scrounge for food and do this and work through this. I can work through it now as an adult, but back then as a child, I may not have that emotional capacity to deal with that because it was too overwhelming. So,
Right. Right. And that trauma still
yes,
exists and
yes,
affects you today.
absolutely. It's embedded in your cellular tissue and in all your energetic bodies.
And it gets stuck and you
Yes,
gotta clear the pipes and
yes,
let the energy flow through.
which is why I do integrative energy therapy. I'm a master integrative energy instructor, therapy instructor.
I love
And
that.
that work is pulling the issues out of the tissues. And that
Yeah.
way you don't have to relive that trauma. It's pulling out heartache and putting in love. It's pulling out distrust and pulling in trust. It's pulling out, fear and putting in safety.
I
So
love that. Do you facilitate that completely, or does it require work from the?
you pull in the 9 healing angels. So you work with 9 angels and you pull in their whole team. And I will say that's like the first. This is an interview about Anna, but it's going into a lot of Rachel today.
Rachel, tell me about. Do you facilitate this completely,
I
or?
do. I do. And I will say through the angels, I'm just a channel, just like you're just a channel
Exactly.
and a vessel for doing the messages and the healing. We're just channels. So yes, I'm working with the 9 healing angels, but I also pull in all your team, your guide, your angels. And it's beautiful work because you don't have to tell me that when you were 15, you were molested. You don't have to tell me when you were 18 that you were abandoned. You don't
Mhm,
have to, it just works it. Whenever your body is ready to release that trauma and to let it go, yes,
mhm.
it's ready to go. And you can
Uh,
absolutely pull it out and get it out of the system. And then you're able to really open up to your soul's mission. Okay, fine. So we have Ariel who's here.
Hi, Ariel.
So Archangel Ariel, and I'm really sorry. This is really, I guess I apologize about this interview. It's going off topic. So Archangel Ariel is all about living your soul's mission. And I'm going to start crying. And what she's able to do is facilitate pulling out this energy that's no longer serving you, but infusing in energy that embeds your cell. It embeds your soul's mission. And
Mhm,
it almost like for me, it puts up beacons of like beep, 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 beep. Like
mhm.
I'm grateful. I feel like for the work that I do, it's brought me Anna to me because I know she's part of a soul group that I'm in,
Absolutely.
and part of like leaders and spiritual thought, thinkers, and just beautiful people. And
Absolutely.
what she does is she puts in these beacons of light, and it's like beep, 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 and it energetically calls things to you. So that's what I love about doing IET. So Ariel is all about, she's like, look, I'm going to help you to break down doors and break down what's no longer, holding you back. You can feel it, can't you?
Area, no, I'm just trying to reach her the screen and literally tap into her energy and give her my
hello. She's intense. So she's with you now. She's already in your room. So, and like, she really is all about your soul's mission, and she's a beautiful angel, and she's all about like, and she's also about the environment, and she's just amazing. And you can work with all of the angels. This is so funny. I just did a podcast episode about 45 minutes ago, all about the
I'm so sorry. Like I really do feel her here, and she's like working on me a little bit. She's like, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm gonna cry. Okay.
She's like, listen, but that's the thing about working with about being a modern day spiritualist. It's knowing that you can tap on these beautiful guides and angels, and they can help you. Yeah, so your lights are changing, and yeah, it's like, I love this, and it's about like calling in what's possible for you, because we're limitless beings and we can do so many things, and it's really our own mind that hold us living our dreams.
Exactly. And oh gosh, that's such a message I want to drive home for people who are listening, is like, there are no limits. Not even the sky is the limit. And if people could truly know and just consider for a minute their fullest potential, and the fact that you were born into this human incarnation and identity to live your fullest, highest potential, and that we're not here, to just come here and live a mundane life. Like, God in all its power did not want humans and all life forms, not even just humans, but all life forms on this earth, to just come here and sit and no, we are all called to a higher purpose, to a journey. Ariel is so powerful, and I'm trying not to lose focus. She's like streaming.
Yes, she's an amazing. If you really are trying to, like you said, live your fullest potential, you call on Ariel.
Okay. Yes, there you go.
She will clear out what is holding you back, and she will put in what you need to call in.
Now, who is the angel? This is the angel before we hopped on for the official interview. I said, last night I was thinking about you, gearing myself up for this, and I kept getting an angel that has reddish, pinkish hues.
Oh, was it
for you? Who?
Was it Jophiel?
I don't know all their names. I think you're much better at knowing all their names, but pinkish, reddish hues.
So, okay, for me, I don't get colors, to be quite honest.
Okay.
I get feelings and knowing.
Okay.
And I work with you know what I think it was? I think it's Haniel, because Haniel is all about grace, and it's about being poised, and it's also about deepening your psychic abilities, which is interesting. And I feel it right here. And it's interesting when you're like, when I'm doing these interviews, this is really has been more of a conversation than interview. So we're going to have to go and do another one, I think.
Okay.
And sorry, it's all good. I love this. This is beautiful. This is the way it should be, because we're pulling back the veil. We're showing to everyone that no matter where you're at, all of these gifts are accessible, and everything is within you. All the power is within you. And really, it's just a matter of you kind of being okay with tuning in and being okay with kind of going into the unknown. But Haniel, I feel like is a newer angel for me to work with, but I work with a lot of angels. Most of my work is with angels and guides. So interesting. So I love it. So listen, Rachel, before we started, she's like, someone's with you. I'm like, girl, a lot of people are with me.
I'm like, no, but one in particular. And
I was like, oh, maybe it's grandma. Maybe it's I'm like sitting here like racking my mind. But I will tell you, the angels really are coming forward for everyone to say like, hey, and it doesn't matter where you're at or what you're doing. You can work with any of the angels. And like you said, I might not know the names, and that's okay. Just trust and discern that the angels are with you, but you got to call on them. Angels, please come right now. It's as simple as that. And you don't have to know their names. You don't have to know their gifts. They're always here to help work with us and to be with us and to heal with us and to really clear the path for us and to show you, hey, yeah, this, you, like you said earlier, we're all here as, you know, we're a soul residing in a human body, having a spiritual experience, and that we are on a spiritual mission, whether or not, if you choose to accept it or not.
If you choose to accept the mission.
So I want to talk about you and as a reader and as a healer. What is your approach to readings? Woo! I'm so excited because I'm going to get one in a week and I cannot wait.
I cannot wait for that either. And by the way, speaking of readings, I got one from Rachel a week ago, and she's amazing. So, little plug there. My approach to readings, I let the client know that I am, you used the word vessel just now. I am literally just a vessel for divine messages, guidance for their highest good and the highest good of the universe. I do ask that someone does some prep work in advance. So I'll send them an email once they book. I'll say, drink plenty of water. Please do not consume alcohol at least 24 hours before.
Same with like marijuana or any drug use.
Yes.
I agree with you. Thank you for saying that.
Just with a very, you know, lucid, clean energy as much as possible. And I ask them to set intentions. And I think this is really important that people, when you go to see a reader, but yes, the reader holds the container, the reader holds the connection for you to spirit, but you got to come and drive a little bit as well. Partake in your reading, be a participant, an active participant, right? Set intentions. So I'll ask them, is there someone you want to connect to? What do you want your reading to focus on? Select up to 3 topics that you want guidance from your spiritual army. So I think, you know, my approach is, yes, I am here. I'm going to hold the container. I'm going to facilitate us through this. I have the connection. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's have some fun. But then I want them to come in and set the intention and drive from that perspective. And it's a very interactive, casual, fun hour. Oh,
I love that. I love that you do that. I love that because I don't know about you, but I love readings. I will go to any reader. I don't care. I love it because I want to see all the different styles and whatnot.
Same, yes.
When you're not like when the reader is not respecting where you want them to go, you know, because you'll be like, okay, I don't want to talk about my grandpa anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we move on, and they keep bringing it up. It's like, you know, and I love the fact that you're like, no, you're driving it. Like, I'm just a vessel. I want you to focus on some topics, and that's where we're going to go. And I guarantee you, if I were to say to you, Anna, I'm good with you telling me that I need to eat more fruit. Like, you know what I mean? I'm good. Like,
yes. Yeah. Well, you bring up a good point there, because as readers, and tell me if you experience this, I have had to learn how to set boundaries with spirit guides, you know, that, so for example, if someone told me, you know what, I really don't want to talk about my grandmother, spirit guides, just so everyone knows, they can push a little bit, because again, the prayer and intention is to deliver messages and guidance for your highest good and the highest good of the universe. Okay, so spirit might say she really has to talk about her grandmother. This is a source of trauma. There's some unresolved emotions and feelings here. We want to talk about her grandmother. But the client might say, I'm not ready to receive it. I don't want to talk about grandma. I don't want to talk about grandma. And I have to turn back to the spirit as I'm sidebarring with them, as I'm reading the client. We're not going there today. Let's move on. We're going to move on. They also, you know, it's like they have so many human characteristics, some of them too, right? Where, you know, they interrupt.
They do. And they can be pushy and persistent. They can get
pushy and persistent. And so I think setting boundaries in life is important, but also setting boundaries as a reader with them, like, okay, enough. And I have had to, sometimes I think my clients might think I'm crazy, but they see me talking to the air around me, because they tend to gather right here in front of me, kind of in a semicircle during a session. And I have had to say, okay, everyone quiet. Like, let's stop. We're going to move on. No, not yet. I know you really want to speak. Can you please sit down for a second? We're going to get to you. So it really is this like orchestration.
It's like you're corralling, like, you know, and I respect the fact that you will hold the client's boundaries and say, no, I'm sorry. Like, this isn't, I'm not moving forward with this. I will say in a session, if something is coming in and if I'm getting a message, I'll say, are you comfortable? Do you want to hear this? Do you want to
Yeah,
talk
that's
about
right.
this? And if
Yeah.
they're like, no, I'll be like, okay, we're moving on.
And we have to move on. Yeah. But I know, like, when you said spirit can be a little, yeah, they can be a little pushy because they also really know what people need.
Yes.
But people also have to be ready to receive.
Right.
So
And if they're not ready, we have to respect that. And I have one of my really good friends, she's a medium. And what she says to her clients, and I love that she does this. She's like, anything that you don't want me to tap on, put it in a steel cage. Put it in a steel cage. She's like, and she'll set that intention before she even arrives because she's a very open reader. Like,
yeah, like probably feels like Grand Central Station.
yeah, I'm like sometimes with her, I'm like enough. Like you're too tuned in, like whatever it is. She'll be like, there's a narwhal in the room with you, Rachel. And I'm like, good to know. And but she's so open, and it's just like, but she'll tell them, she's like, yeah, everything you don't want me to read, it will go into a steel cage. And
Yeah.
because people, I think, and probably for you too, they're nervous that you're going to pick up on something. Like, what if they're, what if, and
Yes.
I will say this, it's very non-judgmental. You do not judge people in readings,
No.
but people don't want to talk about, maybe they're having an affair. Maybe they're,
Which will come up anyway, by the way. It's going to come up, and guys, it's going to come up, if we need to, yeah. So the number one reason I get from people about not wanting to do a reading is here's the number one statement of fear. I don't think I want to know. I don't want to know, right? Like they're scared of hearing what will come out. And I'll ask them, what is it that you don't want to know? Well, I don't think I want to know the future. I don't think I want to know what's going to happen. I'd rather just let life unfold. It's like a reading isn't just about predicting the future or looking at
absolutely.
It's not about like, going to see carnival psychic who's going to tell you like, this is your future and this is what. It's so much about connecting to the present.
Yeah.
And about realizing your fullest potential. It's also conversations with the other side. And so I tell people, if you don't want to know the future, we don't have to talk about the future.
Absolutely.
It's not about that. And but it's about connecting you to your higher self. It is such a great healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also for like, one, I want to say the future's not set in stone.
That's right. Good point, Rachel.
Yeah, you might get something to read and you're like, okay, Anna, on February 15th, 2027, you're going to be walking into a room.
Tell me more. Go on. Yeah.
But maybe you change. Exactly. But maybe you changed something about the trajectory. You went left and we're supposed to go right. And nothing is set in stone. And I will say that, I don't know about for you, but I've had people fixate on, and I've had to tell people that. I'm like, just so you know, this is not set in stone. This is the current moment right here in this instance, because they'll be like, well, you said, I'm like, listen.
I've gotten I've gotten the people who have come back and have been like, hey, but you said in, August I would meet somebody. And it's like, well, did you change anything? Did you, so I also say that too. Like, if you don't like anything that comes out in this reading, you can walk out the door and change it. You can change all of it. You create your life.
Yeah. I love that. And with that being said, as you're saying that you do set up intentions and boundaries and you give people a safe space, what would you want everyone to know about your reading style?
About my reading style, that it's a very open, safe, non-judgmental, spiritual space.
Yes.
And to come as you are, come exactly as you are with all your thoughts, feelings, fears, emotions. And it's all okay. Yeah.
I love that. And it's because there are like no nonsense readers, and I respect those readers. I respect all readers, but there are people who are direct. There are people that can be compassionate. There are people that can be funny. I like to err on the, like, I like to be lighthearted and funny.
Yeah, same.
Like we're very similar. But and I've had readings where people like almost like, they make you scared. And it's like, and they project things onto you that I don't think I like that message, dearie. And like,
Yes, well, there are folks. So that that's another thing that's important too.
Yes.
Come open, and with not attached to expectations. So I similarly, I had a client who she came to our session and she just had this roadmap in her head about what I was supposed to say, what she wanted to know. And
And
at
those
the
are
end,
hard readings to do.
they are, because there's no,
Yeah.
exactly, and there's no openness, there's no
No,
space.
it's
She's
very
already she's already set it up. If it, so I think openness is really important.
and I think also discernment. So when you are going for a reading and maybe you're just like something's off about like I have gotten up from I'll be very honest. I have left a reading.
Yeah,
I'm like we're not connected and
yeah,
we're good.
yeah.
And
Good
really
for you.
trust your guidance and know that what's not right for you, what's not safe for you, and if you feel like they're not being respectful, because we're just a vessel, we're a channel,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and we are providing this beautiful service, but there's some people that aren't going to jive with you.
Exactly. Exactly. And just like any
That's okay.
practitioner,
Yeah,
hairstylist, doctor, therapist,
absolutely. Yes, doctors, good point. Oh my gosh, doctors, good point.
right? Like keep going until you find the one that resonates with you, and that every reader has their own style. It's
Yeah,
not a one size fits all.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you might want somebody who use tarot cards. You might want somebody who use a pendulum. You might want someone who's just a straight reader.
Yeah.
Just think of like I remember I was going through it. This is another tough time story for Rachel listener.
But oh, I love it.
I
Let's hear
was
it.
obsessed with California psychics and I used to call them all the time.
Uh-huh.
I don't recommend doing
Yeah.
it, but because there's a lot of money spent. But I will say that, you do get a flavor of all different styles and you get to a point where like, okay, I want this and this and this, but then you're just like, but
Well, readers are also still human beings too. Like
absolutely,
we are also on a journey. We have our
absolutely.
own personalities, we have our own styles, we have our own backgrounds. So keep going till you find the one for you.
Absolutely. And I will tell you the best thing about California Psych is it introduced me to the Alea Deo. And they're like, hey, I think you'd
Uh-huh.
enjoy these meditations. So there are nuggets of wisdom in everything that you do as long as you're willing to extract it.
For
So with
sure.
that being said, what is a message that you have for your listeners for about 2023?
Okay, so I actually did pull 3 cards for your listeners for 2023, even though we are, I can't believe it, beginning of March.
Oh my
So here is I'm just drop in here for 2 seconds, the spiritual message for your listeners for 2023. 3 things. First, I get a strong feeling that everyone who's listening needs to take a moment to ground in the present and be thankful for what they've accomplished, be thankful for what they've earned, for the money in their bank, no matter what the amount, for the people around, no matter how many. There's just a strong message of like, listen, we've been through some tough times. Okay. The last few years have been tough.
yeah.
And so there's just a calling to take a moment to just be still, go into the corner of the room, look around at your life and be like, thank you. I have done it. I'm still here. I'm still, in it. And then the next message I got for listeners for this year is I'm getting a lot of your listeners have either passion projects, things beyond their day to day. Maybe these are creative callings. Maybe these are trips. These are just adventures or classes, learnings that people have tucked away or postponed. Get in touch with whatever those desires are. And I have a feeling they're new to people. So these are not experiences that are in the day to day. It's that new thing you've always wanted to try, that
Ooh, I
cooking
love
class, that trip, that whatever. So get there and be okay being uncomfortable in that newness. And then the last message is this kind of overwhelming, like, you got this message.
Oh, I love that.
Whatever it is you're dealing with, you got this. Keep going. Universe has got your back. And blessings to everybody.
I love that. I will say for your message for the number 2, I actually just signed up for a full day creative retreat that I probably would not have taken, but I was like, got to do it.
Rachel, I just got chills when you told me about that. That
It's
feels so expansive for you.
I can't wait. It's a spiritual, this lady does soul portraits, and she actually taps in and she teaches you how to do them. And it's
Oh
with
my God.
pastels, but it's a 1 day like whole retreat that she normally doesn't do. So I'm excited. It's coming up.
Oh, will you report back to everybody?
I
Let us
will.
know how it went.
I will.
I want to hear all about it.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So last question, how should somebody connect with you?
Best way is to go to my website, which is annalbella.com, ANNAL as in love, Bella, B as in boy, ELLA.com. Drop a line, say hello, book a reading. I also offer a 15-minute discovery call if you just want to get on the phone and chat. Yeah.
I love that. Well, I just want to say thank you, Anna, so much for coming on our Spiritual Spotlight series. We'll have to have you on again because I know you also have some other projects and teachings that are going to be coming up that we'll have to share with the listeners. So thank you again. And thank you everyone for another episode of Spiritual Spotlight series.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much.